Good morning, teachers. Would you like to turn on your video? Okay, good morning.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Good morning po.
Good morning, teachers.
Morning po.
Have the system check first. Let me ask you if you can see the screen I'm sharing. Can you see the a boy here praying? Can
Yes,
you give me?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. How about my audio? Is my audio clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How about you? Are you okay? Are you doing well? Are you not affected by the typhoon? No. I hope not. Right? I hope you're doing well. Okay, let's start. Again, good morning, teachers. May I ask Ma'am Sheila, or Shella, rather, Shella to lead us in prayer. Thank you. You may unmute, ma'am.
um, good morning po, and let's bow our heads and pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sins against us. Bring us to but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Shella, for quick prayer. Can you give me your nonverbal feedback for your feeling today? Like, heart, wow, haha, if you feel exhausted. Anyone?
Oh,
Okay, wow. So, yeah, that's good. Again, it's okay to be in the moment. Wow, I think someone's rejoicing. Ma'am Domingo, I think. Okay, so for now, let's have our, usual class picture. Okay, please turn on your video, just for now, at least. Right, so I can see you. Okay, I think we are 20 in the room. Okay, I will count in 30 seconds. Then smile. One, two, three, smile. Okay, I got that. Thank you. That will do. You may turn off if you are just using, prepaid load. Right? Okay, so again, good morning. I would like to remind you that in the invitation link that I sent, I included there a PS or note because we'll have an echoing of output today. So I hope you save a copy, right, of your responses. Or if not, it's okay. I can echo your responses as well. I have them. Okay, so let's start. The first activity, right? I mean, it's the second because the first one is an objective type of test, so definitely you already have results there. But for this one, I asked you, right, to write a reaction paper for two articles. The first article is titled "Feature Educators Need to Maximize Technology in Learning." So that's published by XUCOM, published on June 23, 2018. Anyone who'd like to echo your output from syntheses, analyses, learning insights, and policy recommendations? I think I can call someone. Sir Van, give me a number 1 to 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mom Rose, is this Mom Rose? Are you there? You may unmute.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
ano po yung
I think.
question niyo?
Yeah, would you like to echo your output for article number 1? It's about educators' need to maximize technology in teaching. I'm sorry, I'm receiving feedback. I can hear my voice from your end. Can you also just read your
Ma'am, medyo putol po.
pardon? What happened?
Ma'am, putol-putol po.
Yeah, we can see also that your internet connection is glitching. It's okay. I may call other people. Thank you, Darlene. Okay, so allow me to read from Ma'am Rosaville. Okay, are you here, ma'am? Okay, so allow me to read your response. So for the first article, I actually gave you parts there, right, for you to follow, but it's okay. Yeah, if you didn't include them as your headings, I think you're able to follow them at least by, dividing, right, your reaction paper into paragraphs. So she said here, the new normal is one of the issues on earth. Educational technology is the practice of introducing IT tools into the classroom to create a more engaging, inclusive, and individualized learning experience. And online learning opportunities and the use of open educational resources and other technologies can increase educational productivity by accelerating the rate of learning. Many teacher educators believe that technology can play an important facilitating role in transforming teaching and learning, and we agree, right? Technology also what ushers in fundamental structural changes that can be integral to achieving significant improvements in productivity. Used to support both teaching and learning, technology infuses classroom with digital learning tools such as computers and handheld devices. It also expands course offerings, online courses, right, that we can access, right, freely to some courses, online experiences, and learning materials. Technology also has the power to transform teaching by ushering in a new model of connected teaching. This model links the teachers to their students and to professional content, resources, and systems to help them improve their own instruction and personalized learning. Teachers who need help assimilating digital tools and resources into their instruction remains the most important job for edtech staff, correct? Though some teachers don't need to support this support, many still do. Without a district level and edtech team, schools will be largely be on their own to support their teachers. Okay, I can see I think I gave you description, right, for the synthesis. It should be simply about, I mean, not yet your learning insights, but it's supposed to be what the article is about. So okay, and this one, I think this is not the inside. As I read the article, I can see that there are pros and cons analysis part in the ed tech. The pros of online is that students can join or go with the flow of the said online class. If the students are shy to talk in front of live people, or maybe she's referring to the physical classroom, they can practice themselves using the new normal education or the said online class. But the cons here, some students cannot enroll because they don't have enough money to provide things that are needed in online class. They may be out of place or out in the flow of new normal education. This is where, right, the correspondence mode of delivery enters. So we follow at least the implementation of FlexTel, right, to also accommodate those who cannot afford online classes, may be synchronous or asynchronous. Somehow, the things that she can recommend are the new version of education. The online class one thinking style of a teacher is a must. The teachers must have a vision of the possible outcomes of this online class to all of the students. Yeah, I agree. Given that it's still the new normal and we're still adjusting and adapting and of course being used to just navigating everything virtually, the students will be needing to have the desktop and mobile technology devices necessary to take fully online courses, to engage in online video conferencing, to capture classroom video and audio, and to edit digital video for online submission. Yeah, we have that here, especially given the course. They must see tangible examples of how technology may be seamlessly integrated into subject matter. Okay, so how about you? How about your analysis on that part? Anyone? Well, as you can see in the article, it talks about an event, right, that they held that tackles or highlight about the different technology softwares, right, or tools as well that higher education institutions can use in order to still leverage the use of technology for education and of course to cater, right, many students. Okay, how about give me another number, Sir Van? Three. One, two, three. Ma'am Kimberly, are you there? You may unmute. How about your learning insights for the first article? Right there. How about Sir Yulin? Sir James? You may unmute, sir. I think we have what few people here. Okay. How about Sir J? Sir J Romeo? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning po.
Morning. So
Naririnig
can you
po ba
echo?
ng
Yeah.
clearly po? Ma'am?
Yeah. We can hear you. Can you echo your output for the first article? Any part of the parts I gave you.
Um, siguro yes na lang.
Okay. What did you say? The synthesis? Okay.
Okay. Today's education is multifaceted as to what it is known to be, and in accord with this, it must be dynamic in terms of its innovation. The
Mm-hmm.
academic pursuits should target the students' holistic attributes and objective subjective values should be its bullseye. And education should not be only should not be only a tangible institution that acquires academic knowledge, but also a living witness of what could happen to a person when proper, when properly facilitated and taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning to say, when they all have the access to quality education that they deserve, they can work on their best and they can portray whatever they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Technology advancement has somehow limited and still sets boundaries that may also promote social inequality when it comes to treatment that may affect the overall welfare of the concerned people.
Mm-hmm.
Medyo reflective lang po yung sa learning insights ko na.
Yeah.
Yun po.
Mm-hmm. How about your policy recommendations?
Oh, okay. This type of concern needs the proper appropriation of the given sector that shall finance the aid or assistance to maximize the modernity and to be a beneficial heir for the next generation that can be a harbinger of an education that can be inclusive in all aspects. And in the Philippine setting, I would call out departments such as the EdChed and even the DOST to posit some learner-oriented plans for the sustenance of this lack,
Mm-hmm.
especially in this time of health crisis, that is COVID-19, which disables person, albeit persistent to accomplish but cannot be financially able for the new normal of education.
Mm-hmm.
Education in all its phases should be friendly and conducive to individuals' welfare and social status.
Mm-hmm. That's all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to acknowledge your use of the words friendly, right? Friendly and conducive to the learning environment, of course, to the teaching learning process of the learners. Yeah, I would like to emphasize that word of being friendly, meaning it's not simply available to everybody, but also accessible, right? By all means, like whatever gadget they're using, right? Whatever resources they have. Thank you, Sir Jay. How about Sir Eugene? Would you like me to read your text or would you like to echo your own output?
Ma'am, yung nilagay ko lang po ba?
Because I can see that you have your different form. I don't know if you followed it properly, but I like how you even created your own title for your reaction paper, and you even use what subheadings, right? To highlight, at least to maybe to give subject to the content of your reaction. Would you like me to read yours or would you like to echo it?
Ma'am, babasahin hindi naman po babasahin lahat po, 'di ba?
Yeah, it's okay. You may choose one part.
Okay po.
Yeah, because it's quite long, right?
Opo, eh. Wait lang po. May nilagay lang po ako dito na parang subtopic. Kasi parang naglagay po ako ng subtopic po dun
Yeah.
according, tungkol po sa ano, sa nuisance ng technology.
Yeah.
Although sabi ko naman po, okay sa akin yung technology. Sabi ko lang po dito, yung subtopic ko po, the truth behind technological ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
In response to the onslaught of, of modern technology, the Department of Education has pushed for the enhancement of the basic education curriculum to deliver quality education accessible to all through the use of appropriate technological innovations. The integration of technology across learning areas is undoubtedly necessary.
Mhm.
However, the reality that the country is not sufficiently equipped to implement this ambitious enhancement program defeats any noble purpose.
Mhm.
According to DepEd surveys, of all the 17 regions in the country, only NCR registered a 98% access to computers.
Mhm.
It is followed by Region 2 and 4 with 70%. Caraga regions has the lowest with only 34%. If other regions in the country have low computer access, then the teachers will have to shoulder the expenses to teach students efficiently
Mhm.
with the use of modern innovations. In this untouched veracity of technological and accessibility of teachers, how can we execute our pedagogies without the equipment? At least for today, DepEd and LGUs are already implementing programs to ensure the capacity of learning for students through online teaching by our modern day heroes or teachers. Sa part ko na yun, parang inano ko na yung policy recommendation ko na.
Yeah, I
Ah,
mhm.
parang gumawa nga rin po sa parang ginagawa naman ng lahat. Especially ngayong pandemic po. Yun po.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you also for recognizing the reality, right? Despite all the efforts that our, agencies are doing at the moment, right? Still, we can say, right, this is, ideal, right? To many. We can say still to many. But yeah, just for the learning to continue, right? And for the education to continue, I mean, just like what you said, right? You even, right, use the modifier, the modern day heroes, our teachers are doing and exerting, right, during this pandemic. Thank you, sir. Okay, how about for the second article?
Thank you po.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, for the second article, it's titled EdTech, How is Technology Changing Education in the Philippines? So we can see, right, that based on, I think, Sir Eugene's, responses also in the first article, that can also be related, right, to the second article. But allow me to echo your output, Sir Eugene. Okay, he even titled it I Learn.
Apo, apo.
I like it that you even created your own title. So he also uses, subheadings, right? At least to enumerate, right, ways to maximize technology that can become a greater chance of molding students in their possible, break. Okay, so first is conveniency and efficiency, right? He said that teachers must learn how to use Microsoft, the basic, right? No matter what age you are, you can create lesson plans through Word, create presentations via PowerPoint, compute grades in Excel, and design and publish, at least, right, the basic computer software skills, right? Correct. Motivation also. And personally, he said that motivation part of lesson planning is the most critical portion of teaching. I agree. I even consider it one of the most difficult parts before you continue, right? Planning your lesson. Failed motivation is just equal as failed overall classroom teaching performance. Teachers can use video clips or simply download in-game applications, which can be used as a tool onto your lesson proper. The only thing you will consider is to drive your creativity and curiosity, spark. I think it's sparking the desire needed for students to want to learn more. Okay, but yeah, the crucial part here is, of course, the efficiency, right, of also the teacher, right, to really implement this kind of method. Another is delighted discussion. I like the use of the modifier. Various applications can surely assist teachers in providing energetic interactions between your students. An educator can use Jack and Poy's study buddy in the lesson proper for both. I like how practical, okay, and concrete your examples are for both individual and group activities, and you just only need to the gadgets. You just only need the gadgets of your students or even the school plus a strong internet connection or data. So still, right, there's loophole here. If we don't have those, definitely it can be done. But okay, I'm sorry. I think my am I still clear? I just received a notification about internet connection is
Yes, ma'am.
unstable. Okay, that's good.
Madali.
But I strongly suggest that schools must consider. an institution-wide Wi-Fi connection. Yeah, I think that's been, you know, a recommendation even before, right? Not just, free Wi-Fi in a certain locality, right? Sponsored by like local government agencies, right, or local government unit, but also, right, university-wide. Yeah, after class discussions, the teacher can also activate the Kahoot application for the quizzes. I like it, that allow user generated, that can be accessed via web browser or Kahoot app, which can be downloaded through Play Store. Okay, so yeah, I mean, still ideal for all, right? Especially if the first problem is the internet connection. So learning at home as well. Continuous learning does not end at school when we can access students' performance at home via Quipper application. This has been used, right, by DepEd for years now, even before, I think, yeah, even before K to 12, that provides e-learning, coaching, tutoring, and assessment services for Filipino students. There are actually, numerous or unlimited, right, softwares that teachers may use. However, again, it's not simply the utilization, but the way we maximize the features of each software. So yeah, that is what technology came for. This is educational evolution. So yeah, at least, right, you recognize the existing and the widely used softwares in the education field in the Philippines. Thank you, Sir Eugene, for that. Anyone would like to share their output for the second article? Still, right, it's obvious, right, based on your responses, that yes, we are, at least we are not really slowing, but we are striving, right, to adapt to the needs of the world, given, of course, the situation now. It's not simply, you know simply accessing, right, or exploring these softwares, but also considering other factors, given that we are in quarantine still. Okay, how about Hannah? Are you there? Ma'am Hannah Atienza? Yeah, you may
Good morning, ma'am.
unmute.
Ano po kasi ako, correspondence po.
Okay, it's don't take your time, but were you able to follow the were you able to answer that? It's okay. You may take your time. How about Sir Mark?
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Uh, how is technology changing education in Philippines? Wait lang po, ma'am. Ito po yung gawa ko
Mhm.
na ako na lang po magbabasa, ma'am. Okay lang po.
Sure. Mhm.
Okay po. This whole article is very positive for me if
Mhm.
we will use for the better society. Uh, wrong grammar. The only cons I see here is the super speed. Uh, Pasensya na sa English, ma'am, ah. The super speed changes of mode learning. Remember, Philippines is our country, and here being eligible to follow changes is only for those richest and entitled. My point is, most of people was shocked to this, and that's a problem.
Mhm.
Admit it or not, we're having a hard time to learn about technologies. My recommendation at the first
Mhm.
my recommendation is at the first essay was, huh?
Uh,
Parang ma'am?
we are talking about the second article.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, kasi po ma'am, parang yun nga po, magka-relate yung dalawang magkasunod na article, and then parang yung pinaka-recommendation ko sa second article is nandun na sa first article.
Okay, and
Parang I notice po,
those recommendations are.
yun nga po, yung, ah, mag-discover pa yung mga organizations dito sa Asia na ano, na gumawa ng event para makapag-share ng mga experience and knowledge may kinalaman sa educational technology.
Yeah, correct.
Kasi, dun po yung kumbaga dun nila na-discover, eh. And
Mm.
then what if na gumawa ng event may kinalaman sa EdTech para hindi naiiwan lahat ng bansa sa Asia. And then yun nga po ang pinaka
Right?
po?
Which we are doing right now. If
Yes
you're
po, ma'am.
going to expose yourself to different events online, we even have, EdTech Philippines, right? However, to some events, you know, they still require payment from educators because they actually sell their services and even softwares. Okay,
Yun nga po,
mhm.
ma'am,
You may continue.
bale dalawa na lang po sasabihin ko. Yun, parang ano po, maliban sa pagdi-discover, siyempre dun sa event nagkakaroon ng brainstorming kung paano, gumagawa rin sila ng plano dun. Yun po talaga yung pinakaano, eh, parang group study or parang ano, group brainstorming para makatulong sa EdTech. Tapos dito po sabi kasi dun as a parent, ano yung recommendation, ito yung sinabi ko na, "I need this to culture my siblings in order to not their knowledge be left behind."
Yeah.
Pasensya na po sa English ko.
That's really important. How many siblings do you have?
Ma'am, wala pa po. Sabi ko nga po, ma'am, in the future, eh, as a future dad, I
Children.
need
Children. You're referring to
as a future.
children. Okay. Thank you, Sir Mark. Yeah, right. I mean, in preparation for that, especially you're a future teacher, right? You really need to equip yourself with all these because, right, no one knows. I mean, what are the odds that we don't know if this will happen again? But even if, right, still, we are in this, technology world now. The language is computer science and all. Okay. Thank you, Sir Mark. So, next even asked you to interpret, right? This picture. Again, there are no wrong answers. Okay. There are no wrong answers, but, only most appropriate ones. Anyone who'd like to echo their entry for the context of learning regarding this picture? Anyone? Ma'am Nadeline, are you there? Again, teachers, please follow the name format. Ma'am Nadeline? Okay, allow me to read your work. Would you like me to read?
Hello, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, ito po.
Okay.
Contextual learning is the highlights problem solving,
Mm.
such diverse interpretation about learning and how many individuals perceive learning. Use the entire amount of space allowed for context to show that you you know your students well enough to plan effective lesson for them.
Mhm.
It is aware the need for instructing and getting to know in many contexts: home, community, and work. It teaches students they manipulate over their gaining knowledge for help them to emerge as unbiased learners. So, panghahaba po.
Okay.
Okay lang po, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ito po. Curriculum for excellence places learners at the heart of education. Its fundamental capacities These capacities reflect and recognize the lifelong nature for educational and learning.
Mm-hmm.
The capacities are aimed at helping children and young people to become successful learners, responsible netizens, and effective contributors. Curriculum is defined as totality of all that planned for children and young people from early learning and childcare.
Mm-hmm.
Through school and beyond, the totality can be planned for the experience by learners across four context curriculum areas and subject interdisciplinary learning, ethos and life for school. Taking curricular aims and translating them into practices is continuous process. The context of learning is consideration activities, and ways working to support the process of curriculum making. That's all, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you. I just hope you just focus on what the picture, right, gives us. So it's okay. It's okay that you even included other, stakeholders, other learning environments that are really, giving possible and positive effects to the learners. Thank you. Thank you for your interpretation. Okay, how about, okay, next time, just please focus on the material provided. So at least you are not, I mean, you don't need to exert more effort to discuss other, right, elements that you don't see in the picture. Okay, allow me to read from Ma'am Shala. Okay, so based on my own interpretation of the detailed description of the photo presented, wow, I didn't even realize it's detailed because it's up to your interpretation. Okay, Ma'am Shella noticed that there's something different between the photos above and below. Yeah, so thank you for recognizing that somehow this ribbon here, right, divides the upper and the lower part. Okay. There's a conflict in teaching online since the student won't be able to touch or experience the topic and examples you have given. They only need to listen very carefully to understand the lesson, take notes from the module on the screen or from the presentation on the screen, and hopefully ask you a question about something they cannot understand. Yeah, so I hope you will, just throw questions from time to time and just be honest, right? If there's something that you can't understand or you are not at the moment, right? I mean, awake, right? Because just like yesterday, during the discussion, my student, okay, unmuted himself and then told me, "Ma'am, can we pause for a minute?" And then I asked why. And then he said, "Ma'am, sabog po ako eh." So, and then also because he told the class he just woke up, right? He just woke up before the class because of, I think, 7:30 class as well. So yeah, I suggest that you take a bath, right? And yeah, that helps you to be awakened at least, right? At the very least. So another, okay, the upper, while to recognize and observe in person, which will be able them to learn also on their own. So this is more of the pedagogy, if you have heard the term, that talks about self-directed learning. So I think that is more our setup now, but of course still pedagogy, right, for children's learning. Okay, the upper photos were like teaching an online medical course. So yeah, thank you for that. That is right. Okay, we have the science field here. So mostly for medicine, yeah, in science field. What else? So while on the other hand, the pictures presented below stated a normal classroom. Okay, normal classroom setup where the students will be able to do hands-on activities and to recognize and observe in person, which will be able them to learn also on their own. Again, it's really difficult to learn at home apart from the problem on about your connection and the noise around you. It's not like you can, dissect a frog or view a cell from a microscope, but simply I'm saying it's not effective at all. Okay. I've heard also, I've known a person or a student also from the university, but he's from a different college in his first year, and he's actually looking for a frog to dissect. But of course, at home, he's going to do that. I don't know how the teacher will be able to demonstrate the proper way of doing it, but yeah. Another, I think he belongs to the program biology. Okay. In addition, uh, she's saying that it's not effective at all. And on the normal classroom set or in the normal classroom setup, students can ask you something personally, which will give them a whole thought about it. Yeah, I also recognize you know, the accessibility, right, of the teacher. Just from time to time, you can go to the faculty room and ask about your concern. Unlike now, right, not all the time, right. Both parties have connection, right? And of course, available time. Okay, schools have laboratories where all the needed apparatus and equipment in their course were there to help them, right? Also to define the human parts and also see it in person. So yeah, you're referring to the most, right, concrete experiences on the top, and then somehow abstract experiences below, and of course mostly technology, right, based and science and technology based setting here or context here, while below it's more about the classroom setup. But of course, it's still possible, right, to connect and meet halfway, right, on the lower part. Just be, just like what I think one of you said earlier, just be creative, resourceful. Okay, I think that's Sir Eugene's idea. Okay. So another for this, okay, different views of learning. Okay, as you can see in the picture, it depends really on how you're going to interpret it. If you are if you are in the shoes of a student, right? How do you view learning using the pictures? Allow me to read from Sir Jomar. Okay. For
Ma'am.
yeah, would you like to echo your output?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go.
Yes. Wait lang po.
Mm-hmm. You said here that the figures show, right? In social constructivism theory.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, maybe I can read for you. Thank you, Sir Jomar.
Wait po, ma'am.
Yeah, it's okay. I may help you there. So he said that the figures here, as you can see, right, represent social constructivism theory, where the environment conducted with the participants, but each participant learned from their own way. So okay, allow me to continue. In the social learning process, the teacher helps the student to learn something new with the learning environment, and these students test what they learned and make for their own. These are the first figure, maybe you're referring to, show the use of fuel. Yeah, correct. Wow, learning from the previous researches as needed for the vehicle. Wow, I like how you view other contexts here. These schemes are still manifested in the picture, where both participants are learned from or maybe are learning from their previous experiences. It's more of the transfer, right, of learning, which we will also, further discuss later. The next one is the girl who's molding the clay. So you're referring to this one, pottery, okay, to become a vase. She learned for on the, I think she learned on her own, right, from the previous sample of vases. So the third one is the two person. So you're referring to this, right? The two persons. One of the two is the navigator or a guide. Yeah, this one, the one's holding the map that know the directions, and he guided his friend and teach where the exact way is. The last one, this picture is the construction workers and the engineer. The engineer on the upper left side is this one or this one. Yeah, this one. The upper left side is they're responsible to all construction workers to do their specific duties. Yeah. And the workers learn from the engineer for what needed to build a house. These figures can see, right, from other views of learning as well, but for the similarities, it can help, it can be social constructivist view of learning. Wow, I like how you even use the theory to explain, right, practically the examples and the figure. And they're right. Okay, you can view learning in that perspective that a learner actually learns from a more knowledgeable other, right? And they really received help and guidance from someone who knows, right? Someone who knows about the topic better or, the skill better. Thank you, sir, for that. Another you'd like to echo? By the way, may I ask you if the due date is reasonable? Like for a week, we have asynchronous learning. Is it reasonable? Yes, Sir John Clark. Thank you.
I would like to read my work po.
Wow,
Ang
go.
sabi ko po is, learning in general isn't just about the way we do it in schools or in universities. Learning can be done anywhere and be used in different ways and in different forms. So how I see the picture po is, ginagamit nila yung learning hindi lang dahil sa kailangan nilang mag-aral, pero dahil sa iba't ibang gamit po.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first picture po is somebody na starting to learn how to drive and filling up their car with gas.
Wow, yeah.
Tapos yung isa naman po is someone who is learning pottery potentially as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other is travelers learning the path and place they are exploring. And lastly is builders constantly learning techniques and processes to make their buildings better. So parang it's for their job po.
Yeah.
Sabi ko, these are all kinds of learning that we don't usually give importance to. But the kind of learning that are as important as the learning that we get at school. No
Yeah.
matter what our learning is for, no matter how we get it, what is important is we always try to use the knowledge that we have to better ourselves and better the community.
I like it. Yeah, I like how unified your ideas are and how practical they can be in the actual world. And that refers actually to the ninth event of instruction by Robert Gagne. It's about transfer, right? So everything you learn, right, from the classroom or from the teacher, even from a more knowledgeable other, may not be your classmates, right? You can transfer it to the actual world. So yeah, that's the very essence of why students are in school, may that be virtual or physical school. Thank you, Sir Clark. Okay. So next, I asked you also to discuss whether or not you belong to digital technology. So again, this refers your to your own, disposition, right? When we talked about technology. So, did you belong to digital technology generation? Prove your answer and provide five evidences. Okay, anyone who would like to say that, yes, ma'am, I am part of the digital technology generation? Anyone? Okay, how about, is this Diane? Ma'am, are you there? Okay, allow me to read from Trisha. Ma'am Trisha, allow me to read your response. Mhm. Okay. Okay, you said that first, let us know what is the meaning of digital technology generation based on IGI Global, the generation of humans whose generational location places their birth and developmental experiences during a time of widespread access to digital computing technologies and whose exposure to and experience with those technologies led to a technological comfort and expertise. So you have the words here. You are comfortable using it and you are expert, right, in accessing those technologies. So for you, for Ma'am Trisha, digital technology generation, right, refers to the people who are born in the era where high-end technology is everywhere. Even though she said that even though she's not that good in using computers, or maybe she's not that interested in exploring technology and other complicated software, she personally thinks that she belongs to digital technology generation because, okay, first, based on again her source, they are the generation of humans who are exposed to technology, and yes, you are. So that's one, right? Tick off the checklist. So she also has the basic knowledge that she can use in accessing digital technologies and software that she needs. For example, social media platforms, online banks, such as you're referring to online banking and such. So third, there is technology everywhere, right? She comes. Yeah, that's right. You are surrounded by all technologies, may that be, new technologies or old technology. Based on her observation, right, these past few years, digital technology is almost everywhere. And there's a time in Jollibee, Pedro Hill. So, yeah, there's a real life example here. You place your order in, I don't know what they called it, but she was, what's this? It was a big touch screen and the menu. Ah, yeah. That's the trend now. I think even before the pandemic, they already have that for cashless way of paying, I think. And the first thing that came in my mind when I saw this is, wow, technology made this far. Wow, I like how you responded that way. I saw the evolution of ordering in fast food chain. Fourth, by the way, your fourth here should be for number four. She can say that she belongs to this generation because of this online class. Yeah, she's using all the software that she's not used to using before, and almost everything is new to her. But she guesses that she's slowly adjusting very well positively. Okay, lastly, she belongs to this generation because she uses everything that she has learned to teach the future generation that is more advanced technology than what we have right now. Yeah, given, right? You still have like how many years? 1 year to go, right? And with that 1 year, there can be more innovations, right? That you may be exposed to, and your future school might be asking you to just simply use these elements and not other elements that you are comfortable using. Okay, so thank you for that, Ma'am Tricia. Yes, Sir Jay, you'd like to add?
Yes, ma'am. Gusto ko lang pong i-share yung answer ko regarding that question.
Okay.
Meron po akong parang introductory part na sa era where digital technology is considered one of the most needed, if not the most, and I cannot live without routine. But it has also taken its toll in marking its name in spite of ensuring things in its smooth flow.
Mm-hmm.
Its make or break effects are manifested in the following evidences. Number one, the, ins- the instantaneous of activities. This is an evident emblem of the digital technology wherein it stands on the analogy of productivity
Mm-hmm.
slash indolence. It is a make or break that may fall on the verge of dependency of the humanity.
Mm-hmm.
This may lose the richness of one's culture and may focus on the sole reliance of it
Mm-hmm.
rather than establishing social interaction that is beneficial for the development of the member society.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the irony. Number two, the gradual fall of the traditional acquisition of knowledge. I imply the use of the library as the physical domain of acquiring and obtaining knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
This traditionally inclined way of getting needed information requires a skill that enables the reader to critically assess
Correct.
what really is essential and what can be meaningful in the pursuit of their knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, the vastness of possibilities. Given the areas that the digital technology may help and ease, the vastness may be its edge. This is through the collective and collaborative process of acquiring in a specific field of knowledge or expertise.
Mm-hmm.
As the digital technology skyrockets these possibilities, it may also assist the exchange of ideas that can sustain and alter what is needed for the people in their daily basis. It may be their jobs, education, communication, etc. Number four, ito po yung pinaka-reflective side.
Mm-hmm.
The personal predicament. Who would have thought that digital technology could also that could also make people falter their own development. This
Mm-hmm.
dangerous characteristic of the digital technology, thanks to the social media, is evident in the Generation Y and Z. They tend to compare themselves on who and what they see online. This may be the basis of their own happiness, their own contentment, and even their dependency in general. And the last one would be the hierarchical facet of the digital technology. The emergence of the digital technology also tackled its socio-economical bias. This can also be a source of prejudice towards a person or a group of people. It is a gap that implies maltreatment that is solely based on the wealth and the inability to purchase, of acquire, to acquire a technologically based knowledge. This struggle or inadequacy is prevalent in the Philippine setting, where the current education is done through the utilization of smartphones, which subtly expresses the education as more of a privilege rather than its primordial idea of it being a right that should be all embracing. So, yun po yung five na nakikita kong manifestation na digital
You belong
technology.
to. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. We can see that also, right? Based on your, you know, concrete and, specific, right? Your specific observations regarding the digital generation now. You really belong to digital technology generation. And also, right, you mentioned about your critical thinking skills in the way that you don't simply grab ideas, right? Or believe ideas that you read online, but that requires skill. You're right, right? That requires skill in terms of discerning, right, materials in order for you to add it or to modify it for your personal purpose. Thank you, Sir Jay, for sharing. Okay, so let's go to, okay, sorry. You're even tasked to use butterfly, to create a butterfly like, right, mind map style multitasking skills with single task skills in accomplishing tasks. So who among you just use, because that's only a suggestion, right, to use the bubble.us website. It's the new way, not our, but it's a new way, right, for you to create your mind map or a graphical, right, representation of ideas instead of simply drawing. But who among you just stayed on, stick to drawings? You can give me a like or act if you did that. It's fine as well, right, if you didn't use the software. But yeah, just for exploration, right, and maybe for a future purpose. Yeah, okay. Oh, Sir James, Sir Eugene. Yeah, it's okay, right, if you stick to the drawing. Did you stick to the drawing? Is that the reason you? Okay, that's for the like. But for the heart, can you give me heart if you explore the website bubble.us for a mind map style? Okay, Sir Van. So Sir Van, allow me to share, right? Would you allow me to share your mind map here? Okay, let's share it to your classmates. Mhm. I will also share the screen, okay, so they can see how did you do it. Okay, so again, because you are part of the digital technology now, right? It's so obvious that you have the skills of the what multitasking, right, as well as the single task. So can you see this now? Can you give me like react if you can see Sir Van's mind map here? Okay, so on this at the center, right? He made use of the question how to balance multitasking. Okay, and around the question there were points. Yeah, correct. Or tips, right? So list down all the things you need to do. What else? Set deadline. Just use parallel. Set deadline ahead of submission. Correct. Time management and motivation. So let's start with maybe motivation. Okay, motivation. Motivate yourself to do the task so you can work efficiently and faster. So it depends on what gratifies you, right? Maybe it's the idea, at least the mindset that okay, I'm gonna watch a Netflix movie or series after I finish this. So that can be right your motivation because it's not specified here. Another for listing down all the things you need to do. Yeah, you can jump to the task that you want to do first while keeping check of the other things you need to do. Right. With this, you ensure that you will not forget a task to be done. Yeah, a to-do list, right? To-do list and not to-do list. You may create a not to-do list, so every time your attention will be focused on something else that's not your priority. So you may check your or not. This is not part of my not to-do list, so I won't do it, and you won't. I mean, you will stop right doing that. Another for setting the deadline ahead of submission, right? Doing this will make sure that you can do all your tasks before the actual deadline. Okay. Yeah, and given that we have, if you're part of the online team, right, we also have deadline there. But again, if that's not, just like what I asked you earlier, if it's not reasonable, so you have to tell me, right? Even if I gave you like 1 week asynchronous, right, mode of learning for you to finish and accomplish the task, maybe you need more time. So you just have to tell me, okay? So again, if you haven't turned in, right, if you haven't turned in your outputs, I still accept them. It's fine. So for the time management, set time for leisure. Yeah. Play responsibly. Correct, right? So I hope that you will not simply focus on playing computer games or right mobile games, for instance. Right? I like this. Play responsibly. Okay. Time management also includes set time intervals of doing that. Yeah, break. You need also to include breaks there. Focus on much easier tasks depending on the difficulty by choice. Do it one after another. The Okay, a suggestion here is do the the most difficult first. But for you it's what? For you it's focusing on much easier tasks. Maybe that works for you, but for the others it's more of the most difficult one. So right, it will be, easy for you to transition to the other easy task. Another, set time for rest. Yeah, this is so important. Review the things you need to do while resting. While you're already resting, but you're still reviewing. Okay, maybe you can focus on but resting, okay, I think. And do not deprive yourself of that. Sometimes we feel so unproductive if we didn't accomplish something that, is academic related, right? Most of the time we feel that. For example, you just watch a Netflix movie, but it's really your time to rest. And your way of resting is to simply watch, right? I mean, don't feel bad about it. I mean, it's natural, right? I think it's natural for us humans and this generation to feel bad about it, that oh my goodness, instead of doing one activity, even though I allotted this day for rest, even though, right, you feel so unproductive, but let me tell you, that's being productive. Why? You are still accomplishing the challenge, right? I hope you're doing well with the 500-hour English exposure, so that works well, right? But of course, again, do not deprive yourself of that. So thank you for this, right? Very, I don't know if I read it correctly. I mean, the way you use arrows, right? I thought, well, these are really the tips, but it's more of, I think the additional bubbles, right, on the other outer part are merely elaboration. Am I right, Sir Van? Okay. Merely elaboration on or specific ways on how you're going to do that, or merely explanations. Thank you, Sir Van. Who else? Okay. Who else used the bubble that us? Anyone? You may give me a hard react. Okay, Sir Jomar as well. Okay. Would you like to share your screen, or I would just share it? Okay, so Sir. Because I think not everyone.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, would you like to share your screen? I will share it. Which one? I'm already on your paper. Okay, so in your case, it's now one word from the top, right? And then, okay, wow, it's a different one. It's driving. So it's also good that you choose a specific, skill. Wow, okay. I like this. Different perspective. Okay, wait. I will share it now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you see this now? The work of Sir Jomar? Can you see this? Okay. So he started with driving, the word driving. And then below that, the schema, right? The series of learning and senses, or of course, that refers to your prior knowledge or stock knowledge about a certain concept. So the senses are here: hearing, seeing, touching, and smelling. Okay. Need to be familiar of different sounds. Yeah, you really need to to be sensitive in terms of the sound. Seeing, alert with the other, yeah, about the other vehicles. Yeah, correct. You need to also be looking at both sides, right? That's why you have the side mirror there. Touching. Okay, learn the use of every part of vehicle. Yeah, because just one, wrong step on a wrong, I don't know how do you call that, but it means, that might lead you to accident. Spelling. Okay, be aware of this. Sorry, smelling. Be aware of the smell of smoke of your vehicle. Yeah, those what the damage, and it can be dangerous. Yeah, if you can recall, right, your commuting, at least your commuting experience, right? Some jeepneys, um, I think, they still do the smoke belching, right, and other things. So that is why maybe, right, that's also the reason that old jeepneys, but even new jeepneys, even the modern ones, right? I mean, I'm not referring to e-jeepneys, but those that still run, right, by gasoline, they still emit smoke. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that. This one is so specific. And yeah, that is possible, right? For a single task. That is now multitasking when you're driving. It's not simply you focus on, right, the rear mirror, I mean, yeah, rear mirror, but, or window rather, but it's mostly focusing on all the senses and activating all the senses that you have. So, thank you for that, Sir Jomar. Are we now on
Thank
the
you,
right
ma'am.
screen? Are we back on the screen of the lesson? Can you give me like react if you can see this? The man with all the hands for multitasking. Yes, Shella? Ah, not yet. And let me start again. Okay, about this one. Are you here now?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So let's proceed. Okay, you're also tasked, right, to at least not really, a comprehensive LP, but just, a log, right? You may choose law of learning, grade level, subject, course, topic, lesson, or subject matter. Of course, I hope it's for Filipino and activity with complete instruction. So those are the instructions. So for Sir Jamar, again, he chose law of intensity among the three. Okay, for grade 8 Filipino, Florante at Laura. Yeah, after you've learned what happened in the story of Florante at Laura, create a script. Okay, from your desired scenario at last part of. By the way, for all your output, I mean, for all outputs that I'll be asking from you, especially if they're referred to lesson plan, right? You may use your major, right? You may use the language for your specialization. You may use Filipino for here. It's fine. Right? At last, as last part of Florante at Laura. And okay, that's the complete instructions, the script. Okay, maybe for that, you may add the rubric, right? Or at least the parts. So at least they're well guided. Okay, because there are different parts of a script, especially the interior, exterior, right? They include that. So another law that he gave, law of relevance. So for grade 9, Filipino, now Noli, okay, make an make an essay or write an essay from your insight in a novel of Noli Me Tangere. In this case, I suggest to give certain parts, right, or criteria for the essay. So at least the student know what you're looking for. Yeah, given that they know, or you will just simply assume, right, that essay has three parts: introduction, body, and conclusion. But what do you really want them to include, right? So at least you're simply focused on what to check. Another law is law of difference, grade 10 Filipino. Questions with visual aids, okay, are effective ways to teach for audio and visual learners, and giving exercises. This is not so specific when it comes to the activity, right? This part tests your creativity in terms of thinking of activities with concrete. I'm talking about the actual giving of instructions to your students, so it's possible for you to do it. Okay, from Sir Lino, are you part of the correspondence team? Is he here? Okay, let me read from others. Okay, from Sir Lester. Let's turn it in. I like your I like your mind map here. That's cute. Okay, for Law of Involvement, Grade 7 Filipino, Komunikasyong Di Pasalita. So, paglalaro ng charades, ang mag-aaral ay bubunot mula sa kahong may nilalamang mga salitang sa wikain sa Pilipinas, tulad na lamang ng bukas ang pala, kabiyak ng dibdib, lantang gulay, butas ang bulsa, nagsusunog ng kilay. So, ang mga tanong, ano ang mapapansin mo sa ginawang paglalaro? May naganap bang komunikasyon? Ipaliwanag. Ano ang komunikasyon? Sa, sa paanong paraan ipinahatid ang mensahe? Ano ang tawag natin dito? Wow, I like that. Right? Very concrete, complete, right, direct, and intentional. And of course, yeah, with examples. Also, yeah, law of readiness, grade 10 Filipino, maikling kwento ng Nigeria. Okay, paghahawan ng sagabal, pagtatapat-tapat ng mga salita. Okay, pupunta ang mga mag-aaral sa pisara para pagtapat-tapatin ang mga salitang magkakaugnay. So, I think it serves as your motivation, right? Since this is law of readiness. Am I right, sir? Sir Lester? Right, ang mga salita, inapuhap or kinapa, gulok, itak, napaigtad, napalundag, naliliyo, naihilo, makanti, madikitan, sinto, rather, sinto, baliw. Okay, right. So, Law of Emotions, grade 3, Filipino, kwento ni mabuti. Wow, it's now on grade 3. I think I encountered this story when I was in high school. Right? So, imagine the high school literary pieces are now used in elementary. May I ask, Sir Sir Lester, if you relay, at least you rely rather, or you base your input here from a DepEd book. I suggest you expose yourself to DepEd modules. Okay, so at least I mean be aware and embrace the curriculum guide for Filipino from grade 7 to 10. Sir Lester, are you there? Would you like to share with us if this source is from a DepEd book? Ma'am Shella, yeah, we already have the screenshot. It's fine. You don't need to take picture. Sir Lester, you may speak. You are now unmuted. Sir Lester, oh, I think we lost him. Okay, so again, teachers, it's better that you base your examples from adapted modules so at least they're more realistic. And please focus. I know it's possible that you will be assigned to elementary, but let's also focus on your target grade levels like grade 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So, kwento ni mabuti. Okay, pagpapahalaga for the activity, pagpapahalaga, pagtatanong sa mga mag-aaral ng kanilang sariling karanasan tulad ng pangyayari sa kwento. Halimbawang tanong, may naging guro ka na ba na laging nagpapayo sa klase? Ano ang mga payo niyang kinalulugdan mo? Okay. May naidulot ba ito sa iyong buhay, estudyante? Yeah, because she is a teacher there, right? So, again, this is part of oh, wow, law of emotions there, but also law of readiness because this is part of, your motivation style of what questioning. So it's not only in the form of games, but even through questions. Next is law of relevance, grade 9 Filipino, nobela. Right? From Noli, pagganyak, iparinig ang awiting awit ni Maria Clara sa mga mag-aaral, magbibigay ng katanungan sa buong klase sa lipunang nabanggit sa awit. Pagkatapos ay itanong ito, ano kaya ang layunin ng may akda sa pagsulat ng awit? Ano kaya ang mga nangyayari sa lipunan na siyang dahilan kung bakit naisulat ang awit? Ipaliwanag ang sagot. Nananatili ba sa ating panahon ang sitwasyong sa lipunang isinilalarawan? Wow, and this also includes what societal issues. I like that. This also is a good springboard, right, for them to be socially aware. Yeah, correct. Law of relevance. Great work here, Sir Lester. Okay, so thank you for your output. So roles of a teacher in the 21st century. Allow me to call you, right, and then choose among those, right, 11 roles. Okay, you have to choose three, but as I call you, you may just share with us one role that you like to or you aim to possess and practice in the future. It's okay, Sir Lester. I read your chat. Okay, let's start from Sir Van. Among the 7 roles, we have controller, prompter, resource provider, assessor, organizer, participant, tutor, right, planner, technology lover, and digital learner. Which among those would you like to give us one role that you like to possess in the future, Sir Van?
Yung ano po ma'am, the assessor, being a teacher as a assessor.
Mm-hmm. Why? Would you like to further discuss that?
Sige po. Ano ma'am, yung paikliin ko na lang po yung sagot ko. Kasi ma'am para dun sa subject namin ng assessment is parang doon ko po pinaka na-realize na yung assessment talaga is parang kumbaga nasa pinakamataas na tungkulin ng teacher kasi doon po natin measure kung effective ba tayo as teacher and yung sa effective din ba yung pag-transmit natin ng knowledge dun sa mga estudyante. And ang dami pong dapat i-assess natin.
Yeah, correct. There's no, right? There's no learning without application of all the activities. So there's really need to assess, right? To assess the learning, not just the learning of the students, but even the teaching, right, of the teacher. So that talks about reflective teaching now. Okay, so correct. How about Ma'am Shella? What's the role? What's one role you like to possess in the future?
Ah, dito po sa output ko, nilagay ko po dun sa pangatlong role na gusto ko i-possess is yung the teacher being the participant. Kasi
Mm,
personally po ako, gusto ko yung ini-include or ini-involve yung sarili ko dun sa mga estudyante ko in order for them para to get to know me.
mhm.
Para hindi po masyadong mabigat yung mabigat yung maging lesson namin or hindi sila maging comfortable dun sa magiging topic namin or yung samahan namin. Kasi, ma'am, okay lang basahin ko po.
Sure.
Uh, this is really a better idea when it comes to teaching. This is allowing yourself not only to be their teacher, but involving yourself to feel their pain, happiness, activeness, and all the characteristics of a student. You're giving them tasks not only because you want them to learn, but also open your door to get to know them more. You're not taking all the attention, you're giving them the full attention and be the center of their classroom.
Yeah.
This thing can enhance the mood and let the students breathe and express on their own because you're not treating them as nothing or something that never existed to your class.
Mm.
And students nowadays need to be heard and seen. They need a shoulder to lean on, and in that way, I guess you're not just helping them to go through something, but you're also understanding and coping with their differences.
Okay, wow. So I hope, right, that we will really allow our students to get involved in us where we need to involve ourselves also in their learning process. So that reminds me of what I allowed my students to do. They're now licensed teachers, but when they're in third year college, they're English majors, and I asked them to have the micro teaching or their demo teaching in class, and I asked them for them not to be, not to be nervous and for them to be comfortable. They have the discretion to use me as their student instead of an observer there, or an evaluator in the room. So they enjoyed calling me early, not ma'am early. And especially, right, I mean, during the implementation of the lesson, you have your activities there, your games, and they always call me, and they cheer for me, go early, like that. And they're so happy because they feel like I'm not their teacher but I'm simply their student. So yeah, that's also possible, right, to do so. And yeah, even until now, right, so I allow my students to do that. So at least, right, this is just merely, sharing of ideas. Ma'am Shella, you like to add?
Ano ma'am, yung mini-mean ko po dun sa pagiging participant,
Mm-hmm.
hindi naman po yun mag-open siguro ng, siguro there are still a barrier
Yeah,
between
of
your
course.
students and yun po, feel ko, responsibility mo din po na turuan yung mga estudyante mo to know their place
Yeah.
as well. Yun po.
Thank you. Yeah, just like what I said, right? You set a barrier, set the wall, but not higher that it should cover your face. So meaning, right? They still acknowledges you. They still rather acknowledge you as their teacher. But what I mean by my example, right, is for that specific activity, right, to help them because they're a future teacher. So why? Because normally you get nervous if you know that there's someone observing you, right? But yeah, I know how you mean that, being involved in the learning process. Thank you, Ma'am Shella. How about Sir John Clark? What is the role that you like to possess?
Ma'am, yung tatlo pong nilagay ko is first yung assessor. Kaso nasabi na rin po. Pati rin po yung sa participant. So ang last po is yung a technology lover for learning.
And
Tapos ang sabi ko po dito is given that student nowadays are commonly digital natives, it would pique their interest if these technologies will be adapted in the classroom setting. There are a wide range of techniques and platforms that can be implemented to make sure that even though technology will always be present, the learning process will not be redundant and the students will maintain their enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So it's not just about implementing technological advancement ko sa classroom. Pero yung constant effort po to innovate
Yeah.
ways to present your lessons para hindi po paulit-ulit po.
Correct. At the same time, aside from the mention of the repetition, avoidance of the repetition, right? This really means that they will not have what do you call? They will not be reluctant, right? When it comes to facing any technology that you're going to offer. Instead, they will, because of the word lover, technology lover, right? They will enjoy, right, exploring different technologies and software online, that at the end of every accomplished task that they did virtually, they they will really receive that. In my case, it's the kilig factor. There's always kilig factor every time I discover something new, and I feel glad about the output of my exploration. So yeah, the self-discovery learning as well. So thank you, Sir Clark. Okay. So I also asked you to watch the video, right, of Simon Sinek here. This is why you don't succeed. Yeah, thank you for the heart there. I assume, right, that this interview actually impact your life, right? Again, I think just like what I said, he's one of the mere reasons I deactivated my Facebook for 2 years. There's so many realizations from his talk, especially the factors that he mentioned about parenting, about relationships, right, environment and technology. And we can all agree that even though this interview happened years ago, or yeah, years ago, still, right, it's becoming more relevant, right, to our present situation, given that we are like 20, that's exaggeration, but like 24 hours exposed to or facing our gadgets. So anyone who'd like to share, not anymore the synthesis, but let's go to analysis. Okay, in other parts, policy recommendations, learning insights. How about Ma'am Darlene? Are you there, Ma'am Darlene? How about Sir James? Sir Yulin? You may unmute. So at least I know you're still there. Mm. Okay, you are? Sorry. Who's the one who...
Correspondence po siya, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. To some of my students who are part of the correspondence team, they follow at least the pacing. So, right, you will not be overwhelmed too much by so many activities. Thank you, Sir Eugene. How about Sir Eugene? Would you like to share learning insights from the interview?
Wait, sige po. Ma'am, ma'am, dito po kasi sa essay ko po, mag-agree po ako sa kanya lahat mula dun sa 4 na sinabi niya po.
Okay.
May in-emphasize lang po ako rito na baka siguro nagkakagano'n.
Okay.
May sinabi pong idea.
Mm-hmm.
Sabi ko po rito, though mag-agree nga po ako. Despite the facts presented by Cynic, the motivational speaker forgot about people who are raised in broken homes during the Generation Y. Kasi po, baka kaya ganun yung iba
Mm-hmm.
kasi underappreciated nga sila dahil nga sa broken family.
Yeah.
Kaya naghahanap na ng sila ng though hindi naman gine-generalize, no? Yun kasi yung stereotype na mainstream ng isang broken family member na na napapalihis. Kaya sinabi ko po yan. So sabi ko po rito, a study by Margot Galang in 2015 indicated the common reason why Filipino couples separate, including financial problems, lack of communication, infidelity, and domestic violence. However, the millennial children in the middle of animosity should never be blamed on how they behave, but we must recognize the problem on how the persons cope up against the challenges of separated families. Truthfully, persons raised with broken families establish tension on themselves and felt underappreciated. This generation slowly recognizes the snag of the social issue and valuing their lives deeply touches their heart and gently rises up on the occasion. Kasi po yung essay ko po, nakapokus sa appreciation.
Yeah.
Wala po ako dun sa appreciation. Yun po.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. How about something that changed in your habit now because of the video? I mean, is there something that you like to minimize or really omit from your system, Sir Eugene? Is there something that you'd like to start changing or start reducing, right? Or really omitting doing it?
Um, mas mas naano lang, mas naano po yung sinabi ko rin po dito yun sa pagkakaalam ko po.
Mm.
Mas na-activate lang po lalo yung mag-focus ako sa happiness and be patient. Kasi sinabi ko po rito na basta sinabi ko po dito sa part ko po na yung ito halimbawa, millennials need to accept that job fulfillment and meaningful relationships take time, but we know that it's worth the wait. So,
Mm.
hindi po nagmamadali pagdating sa job fulfillment kasi alam ko paparating kung halimbawa sa teaching, paparating po kasi ako sa teaching.
Mm.
Hindi
Yeah.
naman pera yung hinahanap ko po.
Yeah, you really need to follow the season as well. So you are still at this on the season to learn, right? So after
Apo.
season to earn and then season to get married. So thank you, Sir Eugene. Yeah, right. The
Thank
valuing
you
of
po.
relationships, and of course, if you're going to recall the hierarchy of needs by Abraham Maslow, once you right, it's always one level after the other. Once you satisfy the needs, physiological, right? Then safety and security, or before you go to belongingness, right? Self-esteem and self-actualization. So, right, it's really hard to, satisfy all at once. However, just like from his talk, right, when it comes to, gratifying yourself with instant things, instant results, right? Especially when he had, he had an encounter with an employee, with a new employee, right? He said that, that employee told him that he would like to quit the job because it's not making an impact, right? If you remember that part. And then he asked this single professional about like how long you've been working here. It's like just months, right? So in that case, it takes time, right? It takes time, it takes season for you to accomplish such need. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, so you were even asked to follow, or to include or to choose an assessment method. And of course, what's the method? And then we have online quizzes, open-ended essay questions, drag and drop activities, online interviews, dialogue simulations, online polls, game type activities, peer evaluation, forum posts, and many more. All right, assessment methods. And you're asked to choose also one specific tool. You can use Google Form, Plickers, Poll Everywhere, Socrative.com, Nearpod, Classpoll, Kahoot, quizzes, right? Padlet, Seesaw, and all these. There are so many, right? Assessment or formative digital assessment tool or software that you may use, but it's more of, understanding how accessible this can be to your student. And grade level, choose a specific grade level. So I hope you choose from grade 7 to 12 for your field. Choose a lesson or topic or subject matter. Give instructions, or questions and answers, and then provide the Google Drive link. Okay. Now, who among you were able to finish that? Allow me to read. Okay. So for Mhm. Okay, so for Sir Lester, formative assessment. Okay. I hope that you just focus on because they're all okay. Formative assessment, formative digital tool or software, peer grade. Okay, app that peer grade. So, grade 11, komunikasyon at pananaliksik sa wika at kulturang Pilipino. Yeah, very timely, and you follow the K-12 CG. Ang bawat mag-aaral ay tinitiyak na intindihin at na isa sa buhay ang mga aralin kung ito ay nakagagawa ng mga pag-aaral ukol sa iba't ibang sitwasyon ng paggamit ng wikang Filipino sa loob ng kultura at lipunang Pilipino, nakagagawa ng pag-aaral gamit ang social media sa pagsusuri at pagsulat ng mga tekstong nagpapakilala ng iba't ibang sitwasyon sa paggamit ng wika. So there are points here, right? Or ways. Since this is, yeah, for peer, okay, yeah, these are what the criteria, right? If the responses of the peer, right, or the classmate, okay, yeah, follows the specific criteria. So, correct, right? So, okay, yeah, there's no Google Drive link, but it's okay. You have the link of the assessment too. So, again, this is for the sake, of course, of the online classes, right? As you notice, because I asked you to create an assessment tool or software, even just a sample, right? Or at least the overview on how are you going to use it in actual situation with actual, instructions and questions and answers. So, thank you for that response. So now we'll talk about the role of IT in educational technology. By the way, let us clarify again. Like, for those who haven't turned in, you may still turn in, but just like what I said, right? Just like what I said, you may ask me, right, ma'am, for example, clarification or what else? Like if it's reasonable, right, for the deadline to be extended or not. Can you leave a chat or message in a comment if it's fine, if it's workable, right, for a 1 week activity, for instance? Anyone? Anyone? You may type in the chat. Okay, we have here a message. Really? Okay. Other subjects within that week and volume 4 is great. Okay, so maybe we can extend that. Don't worry, I will make it workable. Depende po sa dami na. Okay, because given for the previous, right, we have additional like one assessments 1 to 7, right? So, okay, maybe you like 2 weeks for that, if you like, for the next, because I already scheduled all my assessment, right? So maybe I will extend that. Okay. So thank you. I need this response. Okay, yeah, sure. 2 weeks, okay, understandable, yeah. But for others, congratulations, right? I admire your dedication, your well researched, okay, outputs. I appreciate them. Thank you for taking time. But yeah, we need to be realistic here. So thank you. I need this response. So for now, uh, don't mind because you're after the class, you will be receiving, right? It will be set there in the Google Classroom, the activities for this lesson. So I will extend. Okay, thank you, thank you. No more concerns there? Okay, now let's proceed. So we'll continue talking about IT in educational technology. And here are the objectives. Again, these are many, so I'm going to give you an extension. Okay, answer the questions regarding learning environments with the best of your knowledge. Design a similar model. For this one, we will do it later, right? Design a similar model of a learning environment from the perspective of a learner. This will be done by group later. Describe the current learning environment where you are learning a course or program. This is individual. Write a descriptive paragraph by deciding on the key components and their subcomponents and by making choices for each subcomponent. Create a semi-detailed lesson plan using one type of learning. This is important since you are, in preparation for your teaching field. Share the content you are passionate about by choosing your preferred blogging site. Then create an account and publish a content. you would like others to see, hear, or feel. Individual again. Prepare an introductory video to show to your future students. So okay, this will really happen in the future. In my case, it's a different form that I did. It's simply, the asking of me questions. But in this activity, you will present, right? Prepare an introductory video. It depends on how you like to present yourself there, your interest, how would you like to present yourself or your life to your students, and rate. This is self-assessment. Rate your performance through self-assessment activities. So as we continue, let's try to you explore more as IT enters a new learning environment. Learning environment refers to the diverse physical locations, contexts, and cultures in which students learn. In this case, even though right we are in the virtual classroom, this is still considered a learning environment. Okay, so some components of an effective learning environment: when we build an optimal learning experience for students in a particular course or curriculum or subject, right? It's perhaps the most innovative aspect of teaching. Although there is a desire, right, to concentrate either on traditional educational learning environments such as, classes, lecture rooms, and laboratories, in our case, like video conference tools, or on technology that utilize to build an online personal learning environment, so we call them PLEs. Okay, learning environments are broader than all such physical components, and there are many right components under these. These include the characteristics of the learners, right? Because first things first, like many instructional model propose, right? The part where we need to know the learners first. That is why did I give you the assessment for multiple intelligence tests? Did I give you that? Can you give me like react if I ask you to also take the test? Okay. So I hope, right, that top maybe for Filipino major, what is it? Is it more of the verbal linguistic? Would you like to share yours, Sir John Clark? At least your top one or your top one intelligence?
Ma'am, my top intelligence po is self.
Wow.
And
Okay. So intrapersonal. Okay.
yes, tas next po is social.
Wow.
Tapos last po is language po.
Wow. I like that. I mean, you have a balance of the two, right? Because usually to some, if they're solitary learner or they're into, just reflection, right? They're not into more social or interpersonal. But I like how those two became your top two. So meaning you balance both, right? Intelligences. And yeah, thank you for sharing. Also, it includes the goals for teaching and learning. So what part of lesson plan we can see the goals for teaching and learning? Sir Mark, are you there? Sir Mark, can you tell us what part of the lesson plan we can see the goals of teaching and learning? Are this in specific manner, Sir Van?
Yes, ma'am. Pa-repeat po ng question.
Yeah, and what part of the lesson plan we can at least see goals of the teaching and learning process in a learning environment?
Sa objectives, ma'am.
Okay, correct. There, right? So the objectives make sure, just like how I present my objectives, they're specific and they correspond to a certain activity because okay, I need to open your minds. The reason I have a lot of activities there because I don't like a specific lesson, right? Because I made all lessons comprehensive, right? Unlike others, but in my case I made it comprehensive. I even included list of references there. And I don't simply create, I mean, not create, I don't simply synthesize a topic that will sound like, you know, what do you mean by this? A trivia for you. Because again, just like what I said earlier, without application, there's no learning. So you need to apply all those. And since this is TTL too, it's more of your exposure, right, to these activities. So I hope you understand that. So we have activities that will best support learning, That's why we have all these activities. The assessment strategies that will best measure and drive learning. So for your application part, may that be individual guided or group differentiated tasks down to your evaluation with your quizzes, sit works, or summative tests. We also have the culture that infuses the learning environment. So it's not simply the physical, right, classroom, but all the components that comprise your learning environment or the teaching learning process. So as we continue, this is an example of a model, right, from a perspective of the teacher. As you can see, the teacher is at the center, and these are, components, right? These are, the components of a possible learning environment from her perspective. So there's a content. So under content, we have there the source, structure, right? Content goals, okay? And we also have the skills here, thinking skills, discussion, skill guides, practical activities. So learner characteristics, of course, need to be considered by the teacher. We have here the learner's goals, right? Are they digital natives? The diversity of the learners, right? Learners' perspective, that is included. We also have assessment here. You can do it by essays, tests, right? Projects, okay? Resources are also here. So we have our technology, facilities. Well, facilities now, in this case, are very limited. Okay, we have a test, okay, and books here, online libraries, learner support also is part, right? The feedback is very important. Okay, we also have what is scaffolding, right? That includes that falls under learner support, that we need to take it step by step, and we need to, meet halfway and just, follow the smooth flow, right? By being at the right pace at the right time. Okay, so these subcomponents, as you can see in this model, the subcomponents, right, include the content structure, or practical activities, feedback, technology use, assessment methods. And you can say that there can be a difference, right, from a student's perspective in terms of this. Like the teacher usually sees everything. Sometimes she's being ideal about everything, but when it comes to the implementation, right, there can be loopholes, setbacks, right, and rooms for improvement. Okay, so also building a model of a learning environment is simply a perceptual tool that seeks to offer a holistic view of the whole teaching context for a particular course, subject, or lesson, right? Of course, by a particular instructor or teacher with, of course, a similar vision of learning. I hope that they can meet halfway as well. But again, these components and subcomponents are from the perspective of your teacher. And yet, the choice of the components and their relative value would be guided by personal philosophies, including the philosophies of education, right, and convictions about knowledge, learning, and teaching methods. And also, right, the figure, this model of the learning environment from a teacher's perspective has main primary, right, responsibility to create a conducive at the most possible, right, effort that you can exert to create conducive learning environment. But it is also important or vital to consider, right, the learner's perspective in building one, because how can we meet halfway? And one way that I did that, so at least to meet halfway given our new situation, is through the survey I prepared, right? So at least I know that not all of you can turn on cam, not all of you, right, can really attend the synchronous class, and it's okay. Again, it's not required, but thank you. I still appreciate you coming here in this virtual, video conference. So the point is to determine those components that need to be considered in teaching a course, especially those important elements aside from the content or curriculum. It's beyond the content. Again, you teach the students, not the subject, right? So meaning you focus more on the learning rather than simply compliance of the requirements, given that, the advisories tell us that it's more about the output, but how about the process? So in this on this part, I'm going to divide you into two groups. Okay, so we have group one here and group two. So I will divide you into breakout session. Okay. So if you're part of the correspondence team, please, okay, join, but you're not required. It's okay. You're not required. So I'm going to divide you into two groups. We have 10 and 9, 10 members for 9. Okay, your group 1. So I prepared there a Google drawing. It's blank canvas that you need to design a similar model, right? Similar model, but not totally just using all the words there, but it should be coming from a student's perspective. Okay? So, any clarification? Again, you will design your own model. It's up to you what shapes, images you like to use. Okay, on that drawing. Okay. But it should be coming from a student's perspective. So at least, right, we can, meet halfway. We can connect it, right? And it's up to you as well, ma'am. Are we going to look at our perspective as student right now at the moment or as our future student, if you know what I mean? Okay, so you refer to yourself. It can be of any situation that's up to your interpretation and creativity and resourcefulness. Okay, are you ready? Can I give you 30? Will that be fine? Or 40 minutes to do it? I need response. You need to give me feedback so I can set the time. What do you like? 30? Sir Eugene, the heart is for 30 minutes. Now let's see. Don't worry, we can still extend later if you're still not done. By the way, since these I have the links as well, I can see your progress as you do it. So from time to time, I can, remind you, hey, this is for from the student's perspective, and any comments. I can broadcast message to both rooms. So you will be divided into breakout sessions, and I will not be there, but I can join, right? Or you may ask help so I can join your meetings. Okay. So 30 seconds, countdown timer, 30 minutes. Okay, you're ready? Can you give me wow react if you're ready? Okay, so thank you. I only have 2 people, 3 who are ready. Okay. So I hope our internet connection will, work on this. Okay, I will now open the rooms. Ma'am Hannah and Nadeline, what happened? You're still not there? You may join them. Okay, hi. Do you need help? How may I help you?
Ma'am, yung request, yung access po dun sa link.
I sent it through broadcast. Let me. Didn't you receive it? You are group. Are you group one?
Ma'am, nung ina-access po namin, nakalagay po, kailangan pa pong mag-request po.
Yeah, sorry.
Group 2 po, ma'am.
Sorry. To change their privacy. Thank you. You are group two.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Editor. Okay, it's now updated. Oh well, that's.
Thank you po.
Wait a minute. Okay, you may now go. Thank you. Is that all I can help? Anyone? You may unmute yourself so you can talk to your classmates, okay? So I'm gonna leave now.
Quintat po or Shella?
Okay, would you like to just simply share your work? I'll be the one to screen share it so everyone can see. Is that fine? Or you'll be the one?
Okay po.
Okay.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you po.
Mhm. Okay, can you see your work now? Okay, you may start explaining. Ma'am Anna?
Clinton, go na. Shella.
Uh,
Si Sheila po.
Okay, Shella?
so good morning everyone. Good morning, Ma'am Early. So this is the presentation of group 1. Ito po yung nagawa namin during the breakup session po.
Mhm.
So yung let me repeat po again yung question. Basahin ko lang po.
Mhm.
And yung question po is wait. Wait lang po.
Like the main differences between the learning environment from teachers and learners' perspective.
Opo. Sabi po is design a similar model of a learning environment from the perspective of a learner. What would be the main difference between the learning environment from the teachers and learners perspective? And again po, if yung sa mga groupmates ko pa, if there's something they wanna say po, it's okay lang po after ko po mag explain pag po meron silang i-add. So dito makikita po natin na merong estudyante, which is this one with the phone, yung may parang wifi na sign, and the table. Definitely dapat po yung table is may mga books, which is parang nagsinasabi na nagre-review or what.
Mhm.
Technically yung environment learning for sa learner, sa amin po, kasi po mas nag-agree kami dun sa sa pagtahimik,
Mhm.
dun mas makakapag-isip, review ng maayos. So parang ang setup po namin dito is library.
Mhm.
Then sa back po may makikita kayong books with someone standing there, and I guess yan po yung teacher.
Mhm.
And parang he or she is searching for something, which is yun po yung typical na ginagawa way back before.
Mhm.
So sa akin po yung differences, since yung sa ginawa po namin na activity,
Mhm.
for 1 week po, yung activity na 1 to 7, yung nanood po kami ng video from Simon Sinek.
Mhm.
Meron po do'n sinabi nung tinanong siya na ang mga millennials daw po is, sinasabi na lazy and unfocused,
Mhm.
and tough to handle. Pero hindi kami, millennials, pero para kami nasa same patch. We're going through same patch po since nasa modern technology na po kami. And sinabi po dito kasi, yung pinapakita po nung bata dito sa sa picture na nagawa namin, sa drawing na nagawa namin is
Mhm.
sobra siyang, unfocused. Like kailangan niya mag-study, mag-aral, ganyan. But then,
Mhm.
nakahawak siya sa phone niya, which is yun po yung kabaliktaran ng teacher.
Mhm.
Parang sa mga teacher kasi sa'min, as a aspiring teacher, feeling ko po kasi parang walang space sa mga teacher yung pagiging, unfocused, eh. Like siguro if 'pag dumating sa point na kailangan nilang gumawa ng lesson or mag-create ng something unique para sa mga students nila,
Mhm.
feeling ko wala silang, tinatapon na time. So they're searching for or finding something na makaka-help dun sa estudyante nila, which is yun po yung nakita namin na differences between the learning environment of the teacher and the learner's perspective. Since yung kami po is modern, like unfocused and lazy, mas masyado po kaming, nate-tempt sa mga bagay like playing mobile games, like, watching Netflix series.
Mhm.
Wala po kaming, I mean, yun nga po dun sa butterfly light na ginawa namin, kung paano namin mababalance yung multitasking with single task. In reality, we're not doing that, eh. Like we're doing something na kung ano po yung gusto namin, lalo na po ngayon na sa new normal na online class. So, preoccupied po yung utak namin sa
Mhm.
mga bagay na malayo sa pagkatuto ng isang bata po. Yun yung totoo, wag na yun po yung totoo, so hindi ko na po dine-deny kasi akin din, ginagawa ko siya. So, yung difference po sa teacher kasi nakikita naman po namin sa mga professors namin talaga na nag-e-effort sila.
Mhm.
Lalo na po yung mga teacher namin na, matatanda na, like masyado po silang kahit po hindi po nila 'to era, like sobrang ang hirap para sa kanila ah, mag, maging makisabay sa'min kasi sa online class, pero ginagawa pa rin po nila. So yun po yung feeling po ng grupo ko na, ah, difference between those two, sa
Okay, the two
teachers and
perspectives.
learners
Yeah, thank you.
perspective po.
Yeah,
Yun
thank you
po.
also for the honesty and sincerity there. May I ask who made this drawing, or is this simply a downloaded image from? Because earlier I noticed that on.
Jomar po.
Oh, why do you have a specific tool for this? And like an iPad or a drawing tool? Can you share what you use, Jomar?
Gumamit po kami ng ma'am, Autodesk Sketchbook, tapos sa drawing ko po tinanggal ko po yung background, tapos in-attach ko na lang po yung picture diyan sa mismong
Oh, okay. Because earlier I noticed that you included other images right before, just like because I can see it real time. So yeah, that's great. Great explanation.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the reality is you can see that there's really what a big gap maybe when it comes to study habits or the teaching habit, right, on the part of the teacher while on the part of the learner. I think Sir Mark would like to add. You may unmute.
Yes, ma'am. Parang ah, dagdag lang dun sa sinabi ni Sheila.
Mm-hmm.
Yun nga, yung teacher sa ngayon na halos na naghahalo yung traditional style and modern style ng pagkatuto at pagtuturo,
Mm-hmm.
yan na po sila. Pero may mga teacher pa rin na kailangan kumuha ng hard copy,
Mm-hmm.
basta umaasa sa cellphone, sa modern technology. Kailangan din nila ng hard copy para sa
halimbawa sa masters nila, kung saan-saan sila dumadayo ng library,
Mhm.
universities. At ang gusto ko lang pong ipaisip o ipa-imagine sa mga nakikinig is basagin yung millennial term na nag-i-stereotype na yung mga estudyante nga sa ngayon na walang focus kasi nga may storbong cellphone.
Mhm.
Dati po kasi kung iisipin natin, kung alalahanin po natin,
Mhm.
pare-parehas silang nagmamano-mano, mapa-teacher at estudyante.
Mhm.
Kailangan nilang magkumayod para manghalap ng impormasyon o pagkatuto. Dito po is let's say sabihin natin na yung estudyante hindi naman niya ginagamit yung cellphone sa paglalaro lang na sa loob ng library. May mga halimbawa po sa library natin, may mga estudyante doon na habang nasa library gumagamit ng cellphone para supporting
Source.
tool
Mhm.
sa pag-aaral. Kumbaga hindi yun nga po, may karamihan ng estudyante gumagamit ng cellphone sa library
Mhm.
para yun nga naistorbo kasi nga millennials. Pero yung iba may naniniwala pa rin ako na may iba na yung ibang estudyante ay gumagamit ng cellphone sa loob ng library para sa maging supporting tools
Mhm.
sa pagre-research. Yun nga po.
Okay. Yeah.
Yung
Thank.
parang
Mhm. Thank you,
transition
Sir Mark.
po.
Thank you, Sir Mark, for an additional idea about how is it set up right before, especially during the when we have traditional teachers, and at the same time, even before this new normal setup. And yeah, you remind me, I mean, even Mom Share reminded me of a fellow faculty member in the college who asked for help, and I am really willing to help her. And just like what you mentioned, she's an old teacher, and she asked for, she actually gave me options and asked for suggestions, like what's the best thing, right, to do, especially when it comes to, she's not really into, computer and different software. So she's thinking, do I need to meet this one student to collect all the hard copies? Because of course that can't be possible, especially not all of you are, in the same location, same city, right? In that case, so I suggest that it's better that if it's individual submission to her email, right? So at least everybody can find time, right, to submit or comply the requirements. Thank you, Sir Mark. Let's go to group one. Congratulations, right? Nice artwork here. How about group two? Who's the representative? Wow. Okay. So
Si Jay po.
okay. I
Ano
it's
po, again.
okay. The group members work together here.
Okay.
Heart.
First,
Okay. Sir J. Okay, it's your turn.
first and foremost, magpo-focus muna tayo sa pinaka-structure niya, which is a circular structure,
Mhm.
and it is known to symbolize completeness and wholeness. So ito dapat yung mga ingredients to sustain or to maintain an effective learning
Mhm.
na mas explain ko pa thoroughly later. Okay? So magpo-focus lang tayo dun sa pinaka-main persona namin, which is yung girl, yan, na signifies or symbolizes students or in behalf of us lahat,
Mhm.
na ayun nga po, na it is a complex elaboration of how,
Mhm.
the learning must dwell and be depending on the acquisition to be done by students, uh, also with the involvement of the teachers or vice versa. So, kailangan ng dual interference yan para ma-ensure. Tapos, this also ensures the overall protection of the welfare of the students. So, parang, ang tawag dito, parang sinasummarize ko po muna bago ko mag-dwell sa mga parang
Yeah,
verb.
right. Because all shapes have meanings. Okay.
This is also to instigate the efficacy of the class. So, yun nga, while maintaining or while ensuring the overall protection of the welfare of the students, it can also promote the efficacy of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this will safeguard the innate rights of the children or in general as a human being, no? That cannot be taken away from them. Tapos, while ensuring conducive and smooth flow of the learning process to be done in the physical domain, which is the school,
Mm-hmm.
no? Na yun yung pinaka-physical structure of the acquisition of the knowledge, uh, this, that place should be the springboard po, no, ng
Mhm.
the effectiveness of the learning. As you can see, from this simplicity of the girl to its complexity na yun yung mga naka-branch out na ganyan, which
Yeah, would
are
you like
beliefs
to
and values,
proceed?
uh, cultural, uh, sorry, cultural courtesy, motivations, conducive environment for learning,
Mhm.
safety and security. To be more specific dito sa safety and security, meron po tayong parang provision or law na under the DepEd, yung Anti-Bullying Act of 2013 na nagsisafeguard or nagsiserve as protection for the students who experience bullying in whatever manner or in whatever aspects such as psychological, physical,
Mhm.
nag-manifest po ngayon like in the current condition
Mhm.
kahit ngayong current or new normal of education, siguro nagmamanifest dito yung sa online or sa cyberbullying. So under na rin po yun yung Anti-Bullying Act of 2013, which safeguards the very core of the human right of the person or particularly the students.
Mhm.
Tapos skill set, dapat mapag-hone pa or mas mapaghasa pa yung uh, with an effective learning environment, kailangan dito mapaghasa pa yung mga competency skills or yung mga macro skills such as reading, writing, listening, speaking, and watching TV or VCR na para magkaroon ng alam niyo po yun, para magkaroon nga ng effectiveness ng learning. Tapos dito naman sa extracurricular activities, dapat yung school as a physical domain of learning, dapat dapat ma-ensure nito yung other skills na pwedeng mapag-hone pa sa students nila, not just trap sila dun sa parang, ay, dito ka lang dapat sa academics, ganyan na dapat sa mga ano. Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na extracurricular. Extra means it transcends the talents and even it showcases the other talents na meron yung mga students nila. So, mangyayari lang yun, magiging kapag naging effective or yung learning environment. So, as you can see, ma'am, na yung sa mga branches na yan, nagko-correlate sila, no? Nag-link sila to each other para magkaroon ng, yun nga, like, part of the complexity of the illustration given by us, nag-limit po siya sa isang line na dapat merong interference between the students in that specific physical domain, which is a school nga, na kailangan magkaroon sila or dapat mag-promote sila to each other ng collaborative learning regardless. That's the emphasis of it, regardless of everything, para magkaroon ng possibility and efficacy yung learning environment. And that's from a student's perspective.
Okay, so I can see, yeah, that's a great explanation and comprehensive explanation with supporting, articles. And as I can see, right, these little circles here, they're on the general component, right, that intervene actually this specific. Am I right? Yeah, that and therefore they correlate to one another. And yeah, I assume they're from the student's perspective, given that you focus more on your academic freedom, extracurricular activities, not just your academics, right? Support system, including, of course, this, right? Learning history and engagement, of course, skill set, yes. Financial support intervenes the resources, yeah, especially now, right? Many struggle in this part and yeah, organization. So right, well, great work here. Okay, congratulations. Can we give everybody a clap reaction? So well done, right? Well done for all of you for groups 1 and 2, especially that you're given limited time to complete this. Congratulations. So again, so for if you are part of the correspondence team and you manage to join this activity, you may just note in on the module that you join here and specify the group, so it will be considered as your output. So there will be no repetition, right, of your output. So thank you and congratulations, groups 1 and 2. Okay, I will also upload this an hour stream in the Google Classroom, so at least you can go back if you like to modify and add explanation. So again, congratulations and president required. Okay, yeah, it's okay, it's okay. If you need to go, I think some people need to attend a seminar. Okay, let's take a picture. It's already time, so let's take our class picture. Please turn on your videos. Okay, again, I already extended the deadline for the preceding activities, and we have more here, so you may just go over there. Okay, okay, one, two, three. Smile, teachers. Okay, God bless you all. See you. Okay, stay safe, take a rest, huh? Yeah. Manage your multitasking skills, okay?
Okay,
Goodbye.
ma'am.
Thank you.